Hey, and welcome to a very special webinar today. My name is Jousha Pellicer. I am the creator of The Tao of Badass, which is a great book you've undoubtedly seen so far about 50 million times. I am going to be your host today, and today I'm going to be going over something very interesting, I think, and something that is at sort of the core of what I've learned and at my system, and that is sort of a roadmap and a flow chart that I've actually drawn out and illustrated here for everyone that I used from the very beginning when I first started. I used these concepts to sort of propel me into the person that I am now with women, the ability to be able to read women's actions and movements and understand exactly whether or not they were attracted, and if they weren't, know how to get them attracted to me, etc., etc. So today's webinar is called the Attraction Blueprint. I'm really excited to present it to you. I'm really glad you could be on it, and I think you're going to learn a lot. So sort of just to introduce myself, I know that you guys have seen so far at this point, by now you've probably seen a lot of videos that I've done. I've done a couple of free videos, and then I had released my new product, the Tao of Badass, and added a bunch of bonuses to it, and a lot of people jumped on board and grabbed those. If you got a copy, congratulations, that's awesome. I did close it down since then, and so the bonuses have all been taken away. I had another webinar training series on there, and as you know, seats are limited on those things. So I had to shut it down. But at the end of this webinar, I have something very special for you. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to sort of get a backdoor on a couple of things and really get the hookup and really get some special free content as well. So if you're interested, stick around to the end here. I'm not going to tell you what I'm doing yet. I'm going to save that till toward the end. It's not a very long webinar, a little bit less than an hour here. I hope. I'm starting out here, but hopefully we'll keep it under an hour, and we can rock it. So just to kind of give you an idea first, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm not sure if I really had done that already. I know that in one of my videos I talk about how I'm skinny and broke, and that's all true. and I have I've been doing this professionally, teaching guys how to be better with women for about 6 years now. I started out before sort of not this way, though. I've not always been good with women. In fact, if I was good with women, I feel like I wouldn't have gained the skills that I have now. I just would have sort of barely gotten by for all of my life, and then settled down for someone that I really didn't care about that much, or that I thought because I couldn't do any better, and I would have gotten married, and that would have been the end of my life pretty much, until possibly a divorce in the future. But about 9 years ago, I ran into, I think we all had this girl, that one girl that sort of slipped through our fingers. And about 9 years ago, I met her and realized that at that moment, as most of us do, and you probably realize this too if this happened to you, at that moment realized, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with women, and I need to get this handled now. Now, I didn't have any direction at the time, so it took me 9 years to figure it out. And it took me a little less than that, but it took me definitely half a decade of full-time study. I lost every job I could get my hands on to get by, because I was just studying so much and I didn't have time. I was practicing and I was going out and taking all these different concepts that I was learning, and took a lot of concepts from psychology and then a lot from other books and things like that, and put them all together and tried to figure out what worked and what didn't work. And what the first thing I learned was that there's a lot of crap out there that doesn't make any sense. Not only that, but it's a lot of crap that just isn't really true. Not only does it not make sense, it's not authentic, it's not real, and it doesn't work. Excuse me. So, I had was sort of really disheveled and was sort of down on myself for a while trying to figure this stuff out. And so I came across what I found to be the most effective and perfect system I've ever even seen in my life. And it didn't come from a guru or anyone like that. It came from some place that you'd expect something smart to come from, and that was psychology. I started applying concepts that I learned in regular psychology class, but I had added a certain twist to them and brought them out into the real world. And when I did that, I built a really powerful attraction system that, combined with everything else I had learned over the years, and I started teaching, and things that my students would bring to me, and questions they'd have, and questions I'd answered, and sort of the way that my brain works, I was able to get a really complete system for myself. Now, originally, I started studying this because I didn't know what I was doing, and I have a really bad memory, to be completely honest. That's why I started doing this in the first place, because I just forget what to do. So I always needed a reference. So I needed to write down what worked and what didn't work. And so I started writing all these things down, and eventually came up with this really great process that I found works. For me, more than the majority of the time, it works. You can predict when it's going to work. You can predict when it's not going to work, and you can see it working as it's happening. And it's just a really powerful thing. So it sort of gave me back the control again over my love life and my sex life. And I want to give you that control too. And I think that's really the point behind this webinar, is to sort of bestow some of those concepts and some of this knowledge that's been passed down to me, and give it to you as well, as fast as possible and as concise as possible. And I went from being, I grew up in a trailer park. I don't know if you know that. A lot of guys don't know that about me. Grew up in a trailer park, very poor. Didn't have anything really. My whole life, had a great childhood, but didn't really have much, and never really wanted anything either, because I was living in a trailer park. I didn't know any different. And most people who grew up there still live there as well. And I think that the problem sort of hit me early on, where I realized that if I'm going to do something to get out of there, if I'm going to do something to fix my life, to change my life, I have to take action to do it. And I had to get out of the trailer park myself. And so I did. And it didn't just stop there. I kept trying to figure out how to, ever since then, how to really take charge of my life in some kind of way, shape, or form. So this was a big area. I had 3 areas that I wanted to handle. I wanted to handle women, self-defense, and business. And 1 out of 3 isn't too bad. I definitely have the women thing down, but the rest, I'm still working on. And that's sort of the concept behind the Tao of Badass, is that in order to be truly good with women, you have to shoot for being more than just okay, or more than just good enough. You have to shoot for being a complete badass with women. And sometimes you have to go outside of the realm of what most guys think that you need to know, and you have to gather information from different sources. And that's what I did. I took lots of information from lots of sources and put it together in this attraction system that I feel is the best thing I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of stuff. So today, again, one of the things I'm going to talk about is I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide. So today's all about step-by-step. It's all about do this, then this, then this, then this, then this. All in order. And if you skip it, here's what happens. And if she gives you a negative response, here's how to tell if it's bad or it's good. If it's bad, here's what you do next. If it's good, here's what you do next. And it's just a really in-depth, cool flowchart. I released this a while ago, sort of to a few of my friends, and everyone was just kind of blown away by it. Apparently it went pretty viral, this flowchart, so it's all over the internet now. But I don't really care. People can have it. It's great information. But what I kept getting from people is that they didn't understand it fully, because it's so complicated. So I wanted to make this webinar for you guys. And if you do want a copy of this this image, the flowchart, I can get that to you as well. So I want to talk a little bit first about who this is for and who it's not for. If you're in the right place right now, and this is going to take a little while, it's going to be about at least 45 minutes of me teaching pure content. So I want to make sure you're in the right place here and you're the right person for this. If you're sort of tired of being helpless in your relationships, and if you are not really into doing anything that feels weird or inauthentic for you, but you're also willing to step outside your comfort zone, then this is going to be for you. If you're interested in just sort of keeping your ego solid, and you're just interested in tricking a woman into getting laid, or sleeping with you or something, and that's what you want, just to sort of get laid from one chick to the next, and have one night stands forever. This will help, but I really don't think you should be here. I think you should probably split and find somebody else to do that for you. There's lots of guys who will teach you plenty of sleazy tricks that you can do for women, to women, to sort of get them in bed, and I'm not one of those guys. So if you are interested in that, then go ahead and find somebody else. But if you're interested in really long-term success, not just short-term success, but extended long-term success over a very great period of time, and that sticks and stays and doesn't prey on your own insecurities, and you're really kind of fed up with a lot of annoying marketers and crap when it comes to dating, people in the dating space, teaching different gurus teaching different stuff, and you want someone who's just real, then I'm probably that guy for you. I really feel like I'm really honest, and I think you'll gain a lot from this. I think it'll really change your life if you allow it to. Now, what I'm going to go over today is I'm going to go over, like I said, that it's a step-by-step process, but I'm going to be going over 2 major stages of 4 of the biggest stages of an interaction. And those 2 major stages are attraction, which is where most guys think they have a problem, and rapport, which is where most guys actually have a problem. So we're going to go into those 2, and I'm going to go into very good detail about those 2. I'm going to talk about the different stages within the step of attraction, how many parts it's broken down into. It's broken down into 3 major parts. How to recognize which part you're in, how to pass each one and progress to the next one, and then how to sort of keep that attraction going. And if you get rejected, how to turn it around so that it'll work out again. If she's showing interest, how to recognize she's showing that interest, and basically to push through this stage of attraction effortlessly, like I learned how to do, because I wasn't good at this naturally at all. I was just absolutely terrible to women. Probably the worst case I've ever seen, and I've seen some bad cases come through my classes, and I was worse than pretty much all of them. Some of them put together. So I'm also going to teach you a formula for building strong emotional connection with a woman that you just met. This is priceless, because once you get past the attraction stuff and you start to build the attraction with a woman, you may be thinking right now, well, my problem is attraction. Well, it may be, and I'm going to handle that in this webinar. But once you get that handled and you start to push through that, your immediate and next concern is going to be rapport. It always is for every guy. So you need to know how to get past rapport. Otherwise, you'll never get to anything sexual, meaningful, long-lasting, or fun with a woman. It'll just be, she'll kiss you, maybe, if you're lucky, and then she'll turn around and kiss some other dude, or she'll go home with some other guy, and she'll give you her number and you'll find out it's fake, or she won't call you back or answer, anything like that. So I want to get rid of those problems and want to solve that for you. So there's that. I'm also going to teach you how to build attraction using banter, which I think a lot of different people sort of touch on but never fully describe or explain. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that as well. I know it's kind of crazy, but I'm going to do this all in the span of less than an hour. So there's a lot of stuff to cover. So I want to also tell you my promise to you here. My promise is that if you watch this webinar and you take in the information that I'm telling you, that I teach you on this webinar, and you really take note, and it's you can't pause it or anything, obviously, because it's a webinar, but take as many notes as you can, that you will be ready to go out right now, and I guarantee you, I promise you, that I can double your success with women just from you watching this webinar. Now, you have to apply these concepts, of course, and some of them are scary to do, but if you know this and you learned it here, even if you take away one concept from this webinar, it will double your success with women. And that, I promise you. If it doesn't, if it didn't, then you have nothing to lose anyway. But I promise you it will, because I know guys pay a lot of money for me to teach them this stuff, so I know this is going to work. Like I said, I've been doing this professionally for over 6 years now, and I've been studying for over 9. So I know what works and what doesn't. So stick here, watch the whole thing, and like I said, at the end of this, you have a special prize and special revealing a special sort of bonus here that I think that you'll really dig. And so I think the big question for me, at least, for when I'm getting into this, when I'm really studying, is why? Why is this happening? Does this work? Why doesn't this work? And I think that one of the first questions I kind of had, one of the first pain points I had that really hurt me a lot, was staring at a situation, talking to a girl, and I thought everything was going great, and I'm talking to her, having our sort of meaningful conversations as I used to all the time, and all of a sudden she just turns around and walks off, or she gets super bored, or I think it goes great, and then she never calls me, or something like that, or I try to call her and she just says, "Look, you're being creepy, leave me alone," or something, and I just didn't know what went wrong, and that was the problem. I thought that if I knew what was going wrong, that I could fix it, and I didn't know what was going wrong, so I kept making the same mistakes over and over again, and the fear of mine was that I was going to make the same mistakes for the rest of my life and never know what they were. And in fact, I had accepted that was the case. So, that was worst case scenario, but if that happened, I guess I was just going to go live by myself and, in a shack somewhere and be a surfer or something for the rest of my life, or go be a monk or something. But I really didn't want to do that. I'm glad I didn't do that. But I really had nothing to lose. So I just went forward and learned anyway and applied everything I could, and it just surprised the hell out of me, but it really worked, and it was really kicking ass, and I really changed my life and turned it around and was able to really improve my situation to the point where now that woman, that one woman that I sort of started out with 9 years ago, she's actually in the other room right now, and she lives with me in my apartment. We're dating, and we're very much in love and happy. So this is, I went back and got that one, and you can do that too. You may or may not want to go back and get the one. You may just want to move forward, and I highly suggest that you don't focus on trying to get the one back, but it's a good motivator. It's a good reason to sort of wake up and take responsibility and be a man about this, sort of man up and take control over this part of your life. So I think, like I said, the big question was what went wrong, and today I'm going to teach you how to sort of end that question and actually get an answer to it. Finally, answer that question of what went wrong, and be able to say this went wrong, and this is how I fix it, and know how to do that in every single situation. So basically, what I want you to do is I want you to be able to walk into a room. Say it's whether or not it's a coffee shop, a party, a bar, a club, walking down the street, a work environment. Doesn't matter what it is, either light-hearted, fun, kind of professional, or party time, whatever. It doesn't matter. I want to give you the ability to walk into any situation, that whichever one you're most comfortable with, because different guys are comfortable with different situations, and they prefer to approach and attract women in their own style, their own way. And you have to know the strength of that way, the one that you like, and how to really make it work for you. And there are some concepts that go sort of pan across everything and across every single guy and every style, and I'll be teaching those to you today. But ultimately, I want you to be able to see that woman, walk up to her, have some words come out of your mouth without really feeling too scared. You may be a little bit nervous, that's okay, but do it anyway. You walk up, you just have this air of confidence about you. She turns around, she looks at you, and immediately she can tell that you are not sort of, pardon my French, but not bullshitting her. That you are real, you're true, you're attractive, you're to the core. And that as soon as she sees you, she only has eyes for you. It's as if she's been waiting for you to come up her whole life. And she's just the most gorgeous woman ever. You start dating her, you're with her, you walk, to your, introduce her to your friends, and your friends pull you aside whenever she's gone and go, dude, how did you get this woman? How'd you get this girl in your life? Tell me what you did. This is amazing. And people tell you you're lucky all the time, and she just she only has eyes for you. She only loves you. That's what sort of life I want to give you. If you want to have more than one woman, that's fine, as long as they're open and they're all comfortable with it. I fully condone that. Go ahead and do it. I used to do that. I used to be polyamorous myself, and I dated about 7 women at the same time for a while, and they all knew about each other, and they were all cool with it too. That's not for everybody, but if it is for you, then I can teach you how to do that too, and these concepts are going to help you a lot. So definitely pay attention and definitely take notes as much as you can. And I'm gonna, without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into this mind map here, this content, and I hope that it will really change your life. That's my hope here. So I'm gonna be going over the play-by-play attraction guide. It's a flowchart, it's an infographic flowchart that I made. It's pretty fun, so it's meant to be a little bit lighthearted. I'm gonna deliver the content in a way I think is easily digestible. But basically, this is gonna answer the question of if you've ever wondered what the hell she's thinking. You basically are talking to a girl and you have no idea whether or not she's saying, thinking in her head, oh my God, this guy's such a loser, or I wish this guy would just make a move already so we could go home and have wild, crazy monkey sex. So if you don't know which one was going through her mind, I'm hoping that by the end of this, you'll get to a place where you definitely can tell, and you have that ability and have that power to be able to turn it in the direction that you want it to go in, whether it's, crazy wild monkey sex, or a long-term relationship with crazy wild monkey sex. So whatever one is your preference. So first, I'm going to just sort of go into start at the beginning, which I believe is the best place to start here, and that is when you see a girl for the first time. Now, I'm going to explain this in a way that sort of teaches you how to use these concepts to improve your ability with women, improve your success with women. So when you learn this stuff, keep in mind that the next woman you meet might not be the woman that you're with for the rest of your life. You have to allow yourself to grow some over time, and to take the time to screw up a few times to learn this stuff. So when I say find the nearest hot girl that you'd like to get attracted to, I really mean the nearest one. I don't mean wait your whole life and find the perfect one, because you won't have any experience with other women when you meet her, and women need a guy who other women are attracted to. That's what they need, because they gauge whether or not a guy is attractive based on whether or not other women are attracted to him as well. So it's important that you learn how to attract all women, so that whenever you finally do meet the one woman, you can attract her with no problem. So you're going to find the nearest girl, hot girl, that you'd like to get attracted to, and simply you're going to move forward. If she approaches you, there's one thing to do, and if you approach her, there's another. But first, let's go into assume that you're going to be approaching her. The first question that you need to ask yourself is, does she smile at you? This may seem like a little thing, but it's a huge difference. If she's smiling at you, there's already an indicator that you're pushing forward through the interaction with ease. If she doesn't smile at you, that means you have to pay attention to the stage that you're on so you can push forward yourself. So let's just assume for a minute that she doesn't smile at you, which happens often, really. It actually happens more often whenever there is a situation where her guard is going to be up and she's going to be sort of, like at a bar or at a place where a lot of guys are hitting on her. And anytime she's done up and a lot of guys are staring at her, or talking to her or hitting on her or whatever, then she's probably not going to be smiling as much at you when you walk up. She'll be more inclined to sort of test you or whatever as you walk up. But keep in mind that that's okay if she doesn't smile. Instead of, the only difference here is that you're only going to be turning your head toward her when you talk to her. Don't face her directly with your body yet. You just want to, don't turn your chest toward her. You just want to turn your head toward her. If she's not smiling, don't face her with your body. Hands down, rule, write it down. Keep that in your back pocket. Fold it up, put it in your back pocket. Pull it out whenever you're at a bar, whenever you're talking to a woman. If you forget, just pull it right out and look at it and put it back in. I used to do that all the time. I used to have different things in my back pocket, notes that I would keep. And when I was talking to a girl, if it wasn't going well, I'd pull it out and look at it. And she'd be like, "What are you looking at?" I'd be like, "Oh, nothing." Put it in my back pocket again, and then just keep going, just to remind myself. Because at the end of the day, you're doing this to improve to the point where you get your confidence, the confidence that you need to attract the kinds of women that you really want. And you can go out right now and you can use this stuff on really, 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 really attractive women, and it will work. So keep that in mind. So if she doesn't smile, only turn your head toward her. But if she does smile at you when you walk up, you're going to turn your chest and your head toward her, because this is an indication that she's pushing forward through the map of interaction. Sort of you're bouncing through and building the attraction already, because your body language is naturally in line. Now, the one thing you want to keep in mind is you do not want to lean forward. See this guy? Do not do that. That's crucial. So many guys do this. Whenever they first meet a girl, they'll walk up and they'll just lean over and start talking. Now, here's the problem with this. If you lean forward, here's what you're actually saying. You're saying, I'm not important enough to listen to. No women listen to me, and I'm kind of a loser. But, because that's true, I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you to talk to me. Meaning, I'm going to lean over and listen attentively. I'm going to be like a little puppy dog sitting there. You've already won me over. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything to actually get my attention. Nothing like that. I'm here, and I'm not going away, so you win, right? So the problem with this is that guys who have a lot of options don't do this. And women are attracted to guys who have a lot of options. They don't lean forward. It's a minor thing, but it's a huge difference. So don't do it. It just in general, really, in the very beginning of an interaction, until you get to rapport, you don't really want to be leaning forward. So next, after you walk up to her, she smiles, she doesn't smile, you kind of turn your head, turn your body, whatever. You do your move there. You want to ask yourself, is she facing you with her body? So if you turn your head to face her and she turns her whole body to face you, that means one thing. But if you turn your head toward her and she doesn't turn her whole body to face you, that means another. So keep this in mind. So you're watching whether or not she's facing you directly with her body or not. So if she isn't facing you, that's not a good thing. That means that she's a little bit reserved. She's a little bit questioning whether or not you're real, whether or not you're being upfront, whether or not you're going to be trying to manipulate her, whatever. And whether or not your confidence is real, which obviously can be a very big deal to women. So if she's not facing you directly with her body, doesn't turn her body all the way towards you whenever you walk up and you start interacting with her, this is even before anything comes out of your mouth, then you want to make sure that you turn your head away from her for a second and then turn back again and continue. Now this is crucial. If she's not facing with her body, she's not giving you the kind of positive body language that you want. When a girl faces you directly with her body, it's called positive body language. You need a lot of positive body language from her in the beginning, so that you know that she's interested and she has some sort of investment. And believe it or not, we actually give signals to people with our body language subconsciously, screaming. If you know how to read it, it's like they're screaming whether or not they're attracted to you. So you want to make sure that you can recognize these, and one of these is recognizing whether or not a woman is facing you directly with her body. If she faces you directly, like her chest is facing you and her head is facing you, I can tell you right now that you've got a clear line to rock forward, man. You've got the attraction building. You've got to escalate it then, and you got to move forward. Now, if she doesn't, of course, then you need to get her to start chasing you, and the way to do that is to sort of take away your positive body language. Your positive body language is you facing her directly. So that's why you're going to turn your head away from her for a second, and then you're going to turn it back again, and you're going to continue sort of interacting. So if she's like turn and she's kind of skeptical, she's leaning back and she's looking over her shoulder at you, then you want to, even in the middle of your conversation, doesn't matter, you want to turn your head away for just like 2 seconds and then turn back around again and continue talking or continue interacting. Now, what do you say is the next question, right? So you turn your head around, you turn it back, whatever. You got the smile, you didn't. You know exactly what you're doing. Let's say you got the smile and, she faces you with her body, right? Now, what comes out of your mouth? What do you say at that point? So many guys, I find, and including myself, have had serious problems with this step right here. That's why, one of the first things I looked up when I first started trying to figure this crap out was pickup lines. I was like, maybe these will work, and I thought maybe I would walk up to a woman in a bar, and I had this imagine I was like this woman leaning on a bar, stirring her drink, looking listfully into the air around for a guy to talk to. I walk up, I lean over in the bar and I say some magical words, and then she starts biting her lip, and like putting her hands around me, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I tried that, by the way, it was about 9 years ago, or about 8 years ago rather, when I first started, and I tried just going up and saying things, and I just got the worst reactions. Women just laughing in my face, making fun of me. I just got rejected so hard, and I found out really quickly that it's a lot more than just saying shit. Basically, it's what you say, it's how you say it, and it's what your body is doing while you're doing all that stuff. So you want to say a playful banter line at this point. So you've already gotten this sort of situation handled here. Whether you're checking to see whether or not she's facing you, you're checking to see whether or not you're facing her, and then once you got all that together, you are then going to say a playful banter line. You can try a few of these. These are some of my favorites. One is, "Hey, you're cute. You can help me pick up chicks." So if it's a really high impact environment, you can say that. "Hey, you're cute. You can help me pick up chicks." That's a really powerful one because it disarms her. It makes her feel like you're not there to attract her. You're there to have her help you attract other girls, and so it sort of disarms her in a lot of ways. Another is, "I can already tell that you're trouble." This is probably my absolute favorite of all time. This one as well. "You're not fooling me. I see those devil horns hidden under your halo." These are just random things you could say that are just kind of silly, right? And the last is, and this is funny, "Did you come all the way over here just to flirt with me?" This is funny, especially if you walk up to her and you start talking to her first, because it just scrambles her. She'll be like, what do you mean you came over here? And you can just start this sort of fake conversation. And really, all that banter is content-free conversation. It's nothing magical. It's just something that holds the place of your mouth so that you guys can talk, so that your body language can do most of the actual communication. Now, it has to be lighthearted, it has to be fun, it has to be sort of fluffy. A lot of great movies have great banter lines. I went to Caddyshack and got a lot of lines from Caddyshack. There are a lot of other movies too that you can watch. Anything that you find that's kind of a one-liner, you can say, but it's much better to make up one on the fly. But just in case you don't have that, you want to make sure you have a back pocket full of these. Not literally, but you could put them in your back pocket. But you want to have some of these things to say memorized that you can just sort of blurt out if you walk up to a girl and you go to talk to her, and God forbid, but it will happen, nothing comes out of your mouth at all. You're just sort of sitting there staring in a stupor. So let's imagine that she hasn't smiled once yet. Well, if that's the case, you say your banter line. This is really starting to suck. What you want to do is you want to go back and say another banter line, and you want to repeat this maybe 2 or 3 times. Don't go more than that, but also don't go less than that. If she starts to she's not smiling, she's not giving you any positive response, don't just bail. Most guys just leave. Don't do that, And if she does, though, if she does 3 times you go through and she doesn't give you any kind of smile, no kind of positive response whatsoever, she's not facing you with her body, just say, "Nice to meet you," turn around and find another girl and try it with her, because you're really not going to get anywhere yet if you can't get past that process. There are plenty of girls that have a ton of barriers up, and it's sort of an advanced technique to be able to get past those barriers. You will get there to the point where you can get past those, but for now, don't try to beat yourself up with a woman who's super, super guarded. Instead, just sort of move on. But if she smiles or laughs, which I think you'll find that about 9 out of 10 girls will actually smile and laugh at this, then you're going to immediately, 2 things are going to happen. You're going to realize that this shit works at first, and you're going to go, "Oh my God, this is actually real, and this will work for me, and I can get better." That's the first thing that I realized. And then, and it's going to change your life from that moment. And then after that, you're going to go, "Now what?" Right? So here's the problem with most guys. Most guys, think that at this point they're sort of home free, and that's why most guys suck at this. I mean, they're just good enough, and that's why most, in order to be really good with women, you just have to not be absolutely terrible with women, really, because women at this point are just looking for a guy that isn't horrible at understanding them, isn't horrible at attracting them, isn't just messing everything up. So in order to really get this down, you have to just not screw everything up, essentially. So most guys, what they do is they get to the point where they can get a girl to laugh a little bit. They get a lot of their friends are really impressed, and other dudes are like, oh my God, man, that chick is really into you, but they never get any action, and that's the problem. What you have to do from there on is you have to progress this to move forward. You don't want to be, basically, let's just agree that you're not doing this to impress other dudes. You're doing this to improve your life, to improve your love life. So keep that in mind. Keep that sort of eye on the prize there. And, I think that at the end of the day, you're going to be focused on learning and improving yourself in general. So keep that in mind. So what you're going to do is you're going to use a takeaway, so it's called a takeaway, to get her to chase you. And this is like an exaggerated version of earlier when I said turn your head for a minute. And here's what you do. While she's laughing and she's sort of giggling, at your joke, at your banter line, you're going to turn your back to her. Now, basically what this does is it shows that you're not needy. So what women will do is they'll laugh, they'll give you a positive response, and then they'll watch you. And if you freak out and you start being like, oh my God, that's amazing, and you start getting really needy, they are turned off immediately and they leave, right? That's kind of how it is. So what you want to do is you don't want to have that kind of needy reaction. Instead, you want to show her that you're used to women laughing at your jokes, you're used to women being attracted to you. And here's how you're going to do it. Turn your back to her first, just while in the middle of her laugh. Like as soon as she starts laughing, you smile and you turn your back, right? Then you're going to look over your shoulder and show her that you're smiling for a minute, just for a split second, right? So you're going to basically turn your body completely away from her. You're going to smile, and then look over your shoulder and you're going to smile at her. And then count to about 4. You can do 3 seconds, okay, but 4 is a pretty good number. Count to about 4 in your head and let her sort of laugh and see if she reaches out to grab you, right, to turn you around. I know you may have the urge to sort of turn around immediately, but really resist that urge. Try sort of taking a couple slow steps away as well while you're turned away. Sort of take these little steps away from her and then turn back around again and continue interacting with her. Now, here's a really important part. If she goes crazy trying to get your attention, like she's trying to swat at you, trying to get you to turn around to look at her or to interact or to not walk away, then it is on, bitches. This is what you want. If she's not doing that, and she's just not interested really, you take a couple steps away and you can't really read her yet, then you need to bounce right back on up and drop another banter line there. And go through the whole process again. Go through the whole thing. Drop a banter line. Say it. If she reacts positively, you want to turn away just a little bit and see if she'll swat at you. Basically, you want to keep on doing this until she's given you a positive reaction. She's trying to get your attention again whenever you turn around. This is really, really good. I hope you like my Facebook "It's on bitches" button, which I think Facebook needs to think about creating. So this next part, I believe, is very optional. You don't have to do this part. If there's a lot of like very stimulating environment, like it's a loud club or a bar or something, or there's a lot of other guys who are competing for her attention as well, then you want to do this part just to sort of ramp up the attraction, to keep it fun. But if you're not in that kind of situation, don't do this. If you're like at a coffee shop or something, just skip it. It's not a big deal. You can totally skip it. I've actually met women starting off with this. This next thing I'm going to teach you, I've stumbled upon it myself, but I've heard, since I've stumbled upon it myself sort of on my own, I found a lot of other guys that are teaching something very similar to this, which is great because sort of shows me that it was working for other people and not just me. And then that's when I started teaching it, and other guys got great success with it. So great success. So it's this sort of spin move here. I think a lot of guys have heard of this. It's not for everybody. So like I said, don't do it in every situation, but it's there for you if you need it. You want to have it in your arsenal. So turn back around if you can, if you're already facing the opposite direction, and stick your hand out like you're gonna, basically like you're asking for money. And I have a note here that if she gives you money or a low five, that's cool too. That's just a joke though. Next, when she gives you her hand, and she will, I don't know why she will, but she definitely does. I don't know why women do this, but when you stick your hand out, they just have to put their hand in yours like it's just part of the process, especially if you went through all the stages before this. If you try to jump straight to this stage, you're risking a lot. She could absolutely reject you and say no and refuse to do it, because it's a big step for her to trust in you, to put her hand in yours, to do whatever you're about to do. It's just know if you're going to freak out or be weird or what. So you have to really build up the attraction before you get here, and this sort of jumps it through the roof once you get it here. And basically, she's going to give you your hand, and you're going to twirl her around like a ballerina. And I said use it sparingly. You don't want to do it to everybody or ruin the fun for the rest of us guys. So spin her around a little bit, sort of like the extra couple of steps here, sort of like a combo move, if you will. And if you do this whole thing in sequence, banter line, turn away when she's laughing, turn back around, stick your hand out, spin her, and then turn your back a little bit as well, right after you spin around like a ballerina, you will have 90% of the attraction done already. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. It's 90% of that process is in these small moves that I just gave you right here. So keep those in mind. Try the sequence out and, see if you can get it to work for you. If she's officially flirting with you like crazy at this point, awesome. If not, no big deal. You're going to want to go back up and drop another banter line for her, and go through that a few times. If it's not going anywhere, not pushing forward, then you are going to have to you're going to have to start over again with another girl. But I would really push it as much as possible, and as much as you can, really try to get that attraction building. And if it's just not working after you try it a couple times, then you can back out. So if she is, though, flirting with you like crazy at this point, then it's time for you to solidify the attraction. And that's whenever you're going to start what's called the qualifying stage. So I want to go over real quick. Where is this thing? Going back to, here we go. If you do want to skip the, let's see, this sort of twirl stage, you can jump straight down to the qualifying section if you'd like. Which is why there's this sort of arrow that comes out here and points to the solidify the attraction section. If you sort of turn your back to her and she's trying to get your attention, she's laughing. And again, you don't have to turn your back fully. If you're sitting down or something, you can just turn your shoulder to her for a second while she's laughing after you drop a banter line, and then turn back again. That's usually enough to make it the attraction, build up the attraction. So now that you've built it up, here's the problem. Most guys don't go into the next stage. And the problem with this is that they build up the attraction and then they don't solidify it, so it drops off like almost immediately. So if you've ever been talking to a woman, everything's going great, and then all of a sudden she gets disinterested and she walks off, this is why. You didn't solidify the attraction. You didn't enter the qualifying stage of the interaction, which is crucial for this process. Now, these different processes here in the concept of qualifying is actually a term that originated in sales, of all places, and then was brought sort of out of sales by a really strange but very, very smart guy named Eric Markovic, and also known as Mystery. He's the guy who does the pickup artist in VH1. He sort of took this thing from the space of sales and reintegrated it into attracting women. So the qualifying stage, and trust me, I've tested this a million times. I don't want to have to say that I don't want to have to give Mystery, the guy from the pickup artist, credit for anything. I'd rather that this stuff didn't work, but this works. So keep this in mind. Very, very powerful concept, and it works because it's a proven psychological concept. People have been doing this for years in sales, and it works for women as well. So you're going to be solidifying this attraction by qualifying her, basically allowing her to chase you. She needs to know that she's earned your attraction, and you to show her that. So most guys overlook this sort of process here. They don't think that a girl needs to feel like she's earned their attraction, but every woman needs to feel that way. Otherwise, she'll, over time, as she's talking to you, she'll start to lose the attraction. It'll just sort of drop off, and she won't be interested anymore, and you'll be sort of left there, for lack of a better phrase, with your dick in your hand, You have no idea what to do. It's like, what happened here? And you won't be able to fix it. So you have to solidify this attraction. There's a lot of different ways of doing this, and I go over a lot of that stuff in the Tao of Badass, but like I said, the Tao of Badass bonus package now is closed, so just try to take note here, and I'll teach you what I can for free, and you can write it down. So the best thing you need to do first, this is the stage that most guys do not think about. You have to ask yourself, is she bragging about something completely off topic already? If she is, then you do not need to qualify her. This is crucial. If you do qualify her and she's already bragging about something totally off topic, then you're going to kill the attraction. Now, let me tell you why. The qualifying stage is basically where she says something to you or does something for you or whatever, and you go, hey, you know what? You're different than most girls. And she goes, oh my God, he recognized that I'm valuable and different. And then you move forward, right? Now, you may already think that she's valuable and different, but you have to show her that. If you don't show her that, then she's not going to know. Now, if she's trying to tell you something to impress you and you plow over it and you try to get her to say something else, or you say that you're not impressed by that, it'll work on some women, but then some women, it won't work on them. They'll instead lose interest because they'll feel like they can't attract you. So that's not good. They'll walk away and you'll lose your chances with those women. So you don't want that to happen. So if she's not talking about something completely off topic, by the way, if she is talking about something completely off topic, she will only do that if she's attracted to you. So keep that in mind. If you hear it, a lot of guys get annoyed with that, which is my little sort of note up here. A lot of guys get annoyed with women talking about something or bragging about something off topic, but she'll only do it if she's trying to impress you, and she'll only try to impress you if she's attracted to you already. So if she's not bragging about something completely off topic, that's okay. No big deal. You're going to use what's called a qualifying statement to let her know that she's earned your attraction. This was a big turning point for me, and if you felt like you've gotten girls to laugh in the past, but you haven't been able to push it beyond that, this is why. So keep a very close eye on this. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to sort of do your own version of what I'm about to tell you here. You don't have to repeat this word for word, but just keep this in mind. I want you to tell her that she's different than most girls you met in some way, shape, or form. You can say, you know, you're weird, but I like weird, you know. Or you can say, you know, there are a lot of girls here at this bar, at this cafe, whatever. For some reason, I'm talking to you, and you're just different. You know, it's cool to talk to you. Now, and then you could say, but do you know why you're different? Like, do you ever feel like you're different than most girls? She may say yes or no, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Then you just want to lead into the next question. This is the powerful question here. Well, what do you think are your three most positive dominant qualities? What if you had to name your three most positive dominant qualities, what would they be? What's number one? And she'll automatically start telling you these. I know it may sound kind of crazy, but she will. Now, here's what you're doing. When you ask this question and she starts answering this question, basically you're saying to her, what makes you special? And she's answering that. She's saying, this is what makes me special. I'm this, this, and this, right? And then how you react after that basically allows you to move forward or kills the attraction. So we'll continue. But you can also tell a whole lot about a woman and about what kind of woman she is by how she answers this question and gives you these three different answers. Now, there are three different answers that she'll typically give you, and they are sexual, emotional, and logical answers. And I'm going to sort of go into a mini lesson here that I'll sort of breeze through. I don't have too much time to go into it. I'm sort of looking at my clock here, and we are already about to go over time, believe it or not. So I'm going to speed this up. So let's look at sexual answers first. If she gives all three sexual answers, then it's very likely that she's a tease. The reason why is because women who think that their three most positive dominant qualities are all sexual believe that a guy would only like her if because she's a sexual person. She thinks that the only thing she has to offer is sex. Now, this is not good. It usually means that you can get through the attraction phase pretty quickly, and you can even hook up with her to a certain point, but usually she'll start to back off, and she'll have a whole lot of barriers. So you have to build a ton of rapport in order to get past those barriers, and keep that in mind. If she gives you all three sexual answers, you definitely want to go ahead and build a ton of rapport, which I'll go into how to do in a minute. If she gives you all three logical answers, that means that she's relatively sexually closed off. It doesn't mean she's not going to open up to you. Of course she will. And especially if you know some of the things that I have to teach you here, and you definitely pay attention, she will absolutely open up to you sexually. But you'll want to build a lot of attraction. You need to be lighthearted for a long period of time and sort of jump back to attraction a bit and build a lot more and sort of have fun, be light, and sort of get her out of her head a little bit. And before you continue, then after that you'll be fine. And finally, if all three of her answers are emotional, that means usually she has pretty low self-esteem, and that means you've got to make her feel sexually desired, make her feel sexy as a woman, sort of draw that out of her, that sort of sexual connection. Don't spend too much time in rapport with women that give you all emotional answers, though it may be tempting to do so. So if you get a mixture of all three of these different types of answers, then that's very good. That means that she's very well-rounded. Her attraction for you is very well-rounded, and she's ready to move forward with you. And she's basically in the right headspace for to get into a relationship or a monogamous one, or even an open relationship. So she's totally open to you at that point if you get one of each. And let me tell you about the three different types. So an example of a logical, emotional, and sexual response could be, an emotional might be I'm very loyal, a logical might be I'm smart, and sexual might be I'm sassy or feisty or playful, right? So those are examples. So keep that in mind when they answer. Now, again, like I said, if she is bragging about something completely off topic, you don't have to do any of that stuff. You can skip that stage and go straight to the acceptance stage, which is right here. So basically, at this point, you're going to be approving of her answers. Once she qualifies herself and she says, my three most positive dominant qualities are this, this, and this, then all you have to do is be impressed and say, oh, awesome. And you have to do this even if you don't think it's awesome. No matter what she says here, you'll have to accept her. Even if she says, my three most positive qualities are I kick puppies, I'm Charlie Sheen's girlfriend, and I always cheered for Apollo Creed. If that's what she says, you have to go, all right, cool. That's cool. Once you get past this and you're in this stage, and you're at this stage now where you accepted her qualifying statements, that's it, man. We're done with attraction. No more attraction. From this point on, all of the joking, playfulness, teasing, and negative body language stops, and the real emotional intelligence starts. Of course, until you get into the sexual stages, and then sort of some of that, you bring back some of that playfulness and that teasing in a sexual way. But during the stage of a rapport, you are not going to be joking around. So you're going to begin, this is sort of my nerd's ode to the beginning stage of rapport here. You're going to begin the stage of rapport right here. Now, there are 4 different stages of rapport, and I got to breeze through these, unfortunately. They are light rapport, wide rapport, deep rapport, and release. And I'm going to go through those at sort of an a completely, very, very abridged version of my deep rapport formula on how you can get a woman to fall in love with you just by talking to her, even if you'd only met her for a day. And that is in the Tao of Badass as well. But I'm going to go ahead and go into some of that now, just an abbreviated version. If you skip the stage of rapport, though, you'll find that she doesn't return your calls, doesn't return your texts. She won't sleep with you. She won't get sexual with you in any kind of way. And you'll accidentally start to creep her out in different ways, and she'll start to, go talk to her friends about you behind her back and talk about how creepy you are. So the first question you want to ask is, are you in an intimate setting where you can talk one-on-one? If you're not, then you got to get to one, basically. You need to move to a more private place. You don't usually want to leave your current venue, whether, you don't want to go, hey, let's go to another bar, or let's go to another cafe, or let's go to my place. That's not the time for this. You want to try to, she doesn't trust you enough yet. So, in fact, she doesn't really trust you at all yet. She just is curious about you and she wants to know more. So you want to build that trust, and usually they're not interested in moving to another place yet to build that trust. But you can easily move to a more private location by gently taking her hand and saying, let's go over here. And if she doesn't follow you, just walk without her and then come back again and then build more attraction again. This has happened to me a lot, and it's totally comfortable and totally not a big deal. I've walked off and walked back and built more attraction, did it again, and it worked. So I just tested out. But if you are in a place where you're sort of in a one-on-one setting, then you can use this sort of deep rapport formula. Like I said, the normal version is a lot more in depth than this, and it's a lot more compelling. This is sort of just a very condensed version. So here it is right here. You're looking at the different stages: light rapport, wide rapport, deep rapport, and release. And I'm going to go into what those 4 different stages are here. For light rapport, you're going to be asking her an open-ended question. My favorite is, what did you do before you came here today? Pretty simple, not a big deal. But what you want her to start talking basically at this point and having actual conversation with you. You've already built the attraction. You're done there. You're done joking around. Most guys don't know when to turn this off. You're turning it off. Now you're getting to the serious shit here. Then you're going to go to wide rapport. And wide rapport is just as much as you acknowledging that she just said something. Now, but if you skip this, you're screwed. So you don't want to do that. So even if you just say something as simple as, oh, that's cool, or oh, all right. You don't have to do anything crazy. You just go, oh, okay, cool. She says, I went to walk my dog. I had breakfast. I got into an argument with my brother, whatever, right? Then I came here. You go, oh, cool, right? And then you're going to take that one of those concepts, and again, which one you choose is very crucial, and I don't have time to get into that now. And you're going to relate it to something that happened to you when you were a kid. This is I'm grossly simplifying this, but it's the simplest way for me to explain it. So if she says like, oh, I walked my dog today, you might say, oh, cool, which is, again, you acknowledging her. And then you might say, I don't know how it is for you, but I remember when I was a kid, I used to feel so powerful when I'd walk my dog, like almost like I was a leader for the first time. Okay, so you're just kind of running into something here. It's really not much. And then you're going to tie it to the current moment. So you're going to go, basically at that point, and now every time I sort of walk a dog, or I think about walking my dog, or I see someone walking a dog, I get that sense that I'm like actually in control of my life. I know it's kind of silly, but it's kind of awesome, And that's all you'd say. And then you're going to drop it, and you're going to start back with a new topic again. This is the release stage. This process, going through this light rapport, wide rapport, deep rapport, and release, is what creates love. If you cycle through this process about 3 times, then you will have such a powerful connection with this woman. She'll feel like she's known you her entire life. This is very, very, very important, because women who are really hot get attracted to a lot of guys, but they don't fall in love with a lot of guys. They don't have a lot of guys who understand how to really build deep rapport with them. So if you can do this, you'll stand out way beyond anyone else, period, any other guys, period. And that's sort of the end of the stage of rapport. And I will have, didn't have time today to go into seduction or relationship balance here. But again, very, very powerful concepts. I wanted to go ahead and start, sort of just go over. I got this really fancy program here, so I'm going to zoom in here and just sort of breeze through and tell you, sort of recap what we just went over. Essentially, what you're going to do is start out building the attraction by recognizing your body language here, and only facing her with your body directly once she starts to face you with her body. And then you're going to say some kind of a playful banter line. If she doesn't respond positively to that, you're going to sort of go back and adjust your body language some, and try it a few times. If it doesn't work after you do it a few times, then you split, basically. But try it a few times first, and don't just leave. I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys bail, and then a girl, when I'd be out teaching a course in person, and I do what's called field work, where I take guys out and I watch them and show them what to do and help them get better right there. And I can't tell you how many times I've had girls walk up to me later and go, "Is that your friend?" I go, "Yeah." So I was talking to him, and I liked him and thought he was cute, and he just left. I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch," So make sure that you go through and you try it a few times. If it doesn't work, say some banter lines, and I've got a lot of banter lines in the Tao of Badass and members area as well. So you're, you want to check and see, if she's smiling. If she is, you're going to then do a takeaway. If where you turn away for a minute and then turn back again. If you want some extra credit, when you turn back around, go ahead and spin her. And then, if she's reacting positively, awesome. You're going to move from there onto the qualifying stage. And after, she's laughing at your jokes, you're having a good time. You're going to ask her what makes her different, essentially, by getting what her 3 most positive dominant qualities are. And then you're going to, gauge. You can just do this. It's sort of a mini lesson here. You don't have to really use this unless you want to get more advanced and know exactly what to say to her and how to approach her and really attract her from there. But once you get her answers, you're going to say she's approved, and you're going to go, "Oh, it's awesome. That's really cool." And you're going to get serious. You're going to move on straight from there to the stage of rapport, and you're going to cycle through these stages in an intimate location where it's, you can hear them talking, at least. You don't have to go to a new place, but just go to a different spot in the place that you are now. So it's kind of a reframe. There's a lot of psychology around the spaces that we are sitting, and once we experience something in a space, if we leave that space and go to another space, we feel like we've restarted and we have a chance to start over again. So it's really important that you bounce to another location. So you're going to go through the stages: light, wide, deep, and release. And you're going to cycle through those about 3 times. And at the end of that, you should have such a powerful connection that she is just dying for you to push forward. Now, I know you may not know how to go forward from here, and that may have been sort of the process, one of the things that you really wanted to learn. But here's what I'm going to offer you now. Here's sort of the bonus toward the end of this. To the right of this screen, you're going to see a button pop up right now. And that button says Add to Cart. Now, only for guys who have sat through this webinar and really took notes and really appreciated it, only for you guys am I opening up this ultimate bonus package again, the one that just closed that I kicked everybody out of. I'm going to open that back up again for you right now. Now, by the end of this webinar, if you haven't clicked on it, it's going to go away. So you can click on it right now. It'll open up a new window, and then you can just, click. You can just fill in your information right there. I'm not going to make you go to a sales page or any kind of a website. Nothing. It's just going to go straight to the page where you check out, and you can get everything that I offered you before. You can get the Tao of Badass book. You can get the audio book, the Day 1 of Hacking Attraction, which is an amazing course. You'll get the what else? Sorry, I'm starting drawing a blank. There's so much stuff in here. You're going to get the subliminal inner confidence MP3s, which are essentially subconscious training for your inner confidence. It's like you're listening to nothing. It's just random noises, but whenever your subconscious mind hears it, it translates it into sort of affirmations. I was really appreciative to be a part of a really cool project where they took positive affirmations to build your inner confidence with women, and they made them at a frequency that only your subconscious mind could recognize. So it's pretty cool. That's there as a bonus as well. You'll also get my banter cheat sheet, which is great. That's I said earlier I had a bunch of banter lines. It's a growing list, so you'll have access to that forever. And you can sort of click on there and see it. It grows, and you can go on and try those new banter lines out. And if you have any cool ones, you can submit them, and I'll add them to the banter cheat sheet as well. And then you're also going to get what most guys were just dying to get a hold of, and that was my 5-week body language mastery training course. It is you can get it for free. I don't offer it anywhere else, so you can get it for free right now if you click that add to cart button. I'll let you sort of go back and get it. Don't share that with too many guys. I mean, I don't want guys to know that I opened this back up for you and that you can get a hold of it sort of secretly through this. But if you don't click on that button and go ahead and grab it, then it will go away. So for the next couple of days, you'll have the opportunity to do that. I'll shoot you an email a little bit later on, hopefully maybe today or tomorrow, letting you know that you can watch this webinar again if you want. And then it goes away. The webinar closes down again. I'm going to have an encore presentation, like a replay of this webinar. And you can check it out. I hope you gained a lot from it. If you do want to jump on to that body language mastery course, which is $1,700 a person, and you'll get it right now for the same price as just getting the book. You get all that stuff together. So definitely check it out. Definitely grab it if you are in any way interested whatsoever in it. You also get the 4 bonus books that I had before: the polyamory book, the Guide to Breaking Up, the Getting Out of the Friend Zone book, and the Never Be Cheated On book on how to basically position yourself in a relationship to never get cheated on, to have sort of a relationship where the woman that you're with only has eyes for you forever, and she only thinks about you and only loves you. So grab that now, snatch it up, and that's it. I'm go ahead and I'm going to leave this sort of open for another minute or so here, and leave the button there. Even though the webinar is going to close right now. And I really appreciated you swinging by here and checking this out. I wanted to give you this as a thank you for really diving into to this material. Oop, let me zoom out there, it's a little close. Diving into this material and showing me that you're actually interested and that you're really the kind of guy who wants to make this part of your life better, to get this shit handled and to get it down. And I'm looking forward to being that guy that can help you out, man. I really am, and I really hope that you do grab a copy. I think it'll be the best decision you've ever made, and I know it will. And it's got a full 60-day money back, 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you don't like it in any kind of way for whatever reason, I don't care why, really. If you want to let me know why, I'm happy to hear it. But I really don't. I'm not going to hold that against you. We'll refund you immediately, no questions, man. Just we want to make you happy. If there's anything we can do to make you happy on top of that, anything else you want, let me know. You'll have direct access to me once you get the book in the members area, and you can just chat with me on there. I'll be able to communicate with you and answer your questions. If you did have a chance to pop a question in below, unfortunately I didn't get to answer them, but I will get emailed these questions. So I'll try to get back to you in order to try to get these emails answered. And I may, if you want me to write you back and answer that question, make sure that you put your email information in there with your question below, and I will get around to it and get back to you, and I will answer. I do answer those things, so and I'm pretty good about it. Might take me a little bit, but I'll get back to you and I'll answer your question. So, all right, man. Thanks so much for checking this out. I really appreciate it. Thanks for I know it's a lengthy one, but but I hope you learned a lot, and let me know what you think, man. And if you want to grab a copy, do that now, immediately, now, because all those bonuses go away again as soon as that button disappears, which will be in less than 30 seconds from now. So check it out, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.